morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I am here to show you a new project with the Yummy Christmas stamp set. Let me just show you right here. It's this cute little gingerbread house, and it holds Ghirardelli squares inside of it. And I've even found a little way to package this up to make it even cuter. If you want to get the 3x6 gusseted cellophane bags, they fit in here perfectly, and then you can create a little topper. And doesn't that make for a really cute packaging to make it look even more special? So I'm going to show you how to make everything, including the little topper. And yeah, it's just a nice little treat. I've been sharing with you cards earlier this week that I made with the same stamp set. And what else can I tell you? Well, while I wait for a few more of you to get on here, I'd just like to remind you, if you want to receive notifications of my videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then there's a little bell as well. If you click on the bell, then you can be notified of new videos or when I do lives. I try and schedule my lives at least the evening beforehand now, so that people can find out about it ahead of time and join me, because it's always nice. I sometimes get questions along the way, so please ask questions. If you see something that I didn't explain properly, please ask questions, because if you have that question, I'm sure someone else does too, and I can take care of it right away as we move along. So I love those. Also, oh, I forgot to tell you, as usual, I have a project sheet for this video, and if you would like to receive that, I will be emailing this out on Saturday. So make sure you are a subscriber to my email list. To get on my email list, just go down below in the description of my video and you will see a link, and all you need to do is fill in your email, your first and your last name, and then on Saturday you will be good to go to get this project sheet. And I have a few of my past project sheets from this month. I will be keeping, about maybe a month worth of the back project sheets always available for those of you who want to catch up. I'm not going to have them till the end of time going forward, because I just started doing this about a month ago. I will eventually just to have the current ones. So make sure you are a subscriber so that you get all my current project sheets. And I hope you're enjoying these project sheets, because I think even for myself, when I'm creating the project, it makes it just so much easier. You can follow along step by step. This one is a 2-page project sheet. I have a couple of diagrams to help you if you are having trouble figuring out where things go. All right, I think I have a few of you here. Good morning, Cheryl, Christine, and Cindy. And Christine says she loves the written instructions, so I'm glad that you like them. I actually love making project sheets, kind of a silly thing of mine, so it's kind of fun for me to put it together for you. It's created with a lot of love because I like to make them. Okay, let me switch cameras. Here's my work surface, and if you are joining late, this is the project we're making today. It's this cute little box, and it holds about 5 Ghirardelli squares, the regular size, not the minis. And then I've also packaged them up in this 3x6 cellophane bag with a topper, so that's kind of fun. Let me set these aside for now so they're not in the way. We're using the Yummy Christmas stamp set that's in the holiday catalog, and I'm pretty much willing to bet that this will not carry over. It might surprise me, it might carry over, but in next week, I believe we'll have the carrier over list. Now this set should be available all or almost all of December, because stamp sets don't suddenly go poof. It's the other things that go poof and you can't get them anymore. But this stamp set in the US is $16, so it's a really good price point. Now, if you want the dies, instead of hand cutting out the little gingerbread house that we're going to be using today, I recommend getting the dies that match. And these are from the annual catalog, so that's good. So they're not going to like sell out, or if they do, they will be available in the new year again. These are called the Cuckoo Clock dies. They match, they are actually part of a bundle called Cuckoo for You, and they make these cute little pop-up cards that have the little cuckoo pop-up little door like that. It's so cute. So this is available. These two, Cuckoo for You and the Cuckoo Clock dies, are available as a bundle, and the Yummy Christmas just matches these dies. You can cut the house, the tree, the holly, the candy, and the gumdrop. So it's nice to have both of them. If you're on the fence, $16 is not a lot for the Yummy Christmas stamp set. If you are already planning on getting the Cuckoo for You bundle, it's kind of a no-brainer in my mind. All right, let's do this in the order of my project sheet so I don't mess up. So you're going to start off with a piece of cardstock. Lots of things aside. And you're going to need your Simply Scored scoring tool. So 6 inches by 2 1/4 inches crumb cake piece of cardstock. And you'll start off by scoring this piece at the 2-inch mark and the 4-inch mark. And then you'll flip it to the short side. And this time you're going to score at the 3/8 inch mark. And you're going to score at the 1 7/8 inch mark. So you'll have a little piece like that. And let me grab my scissors. Stay. So what we're going to do is prep this piece for adding the gingerbread houses on it. So we're going to, you can kind of see here, there's the score lines. I'm going to work on the long sides, and the score lines come down here, and we're going to create a little V right along the score line. I actually have a little diagram on my project sheet on the second page that will illustrate this a little better in case you're wondering what it actually looks like later on and you don't want to have to re-watch the video. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to angle cut the ends. Okay, so we're just creating little tabs. So that's what this side looks like. Now we're going to flip to the other side and just angle cut those in. This just helps the piece come together. It's not a precise science. You don't have to do a special kind of triangle, just kind of make them even and then angle cut the ends again. So let me get these little pieces out of here. All right, so this piece is all done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to do to this piece. Oh, I have an optional step. If you want to add gumdrops, so there's gumdrops along the side. They kind of look like gumdrop shrubs on the side of the house. You can take your Early Espresso ink pad and on the 2-inch and the 4-inch score line, I'm going to stamp gumdrops. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this along the score line, and I'm just stamping a gumdrop here and here and here. Okay, then turning it around. I'll show you in a second what it looks like oriented in the correct direction. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions along the way. Hello to everyone who's joined me. Good morning, Guadalupe and Cheryl Lee, and Alida, and Trisha. Good morning. Okay. I am just going to continue. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a question that I needed to answer. And okay, so I'm just going to use, this is my Call Me Clover Light Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to come along here and just hit this gumdrop. I'm kind of creating green gumdrop shrubs along the side. I think it just looks kind of cute. And when you're doing these Stampin' Blends, they start off kind of dark and wet, but when the alcohol evaporates and dries, it dries to a nice lightish green, maybe a medium green. So it looks kind of cool. I actually love using Stampin' Blends on a light colored cardstock. On dark cardstock, of course, it wouldn't show up, but on a light cardstock like crumb cake, it's actually kind of cute. So you can see these ones are drying up a little bit and they're gonna look really sweet. So that's what this piece looks like. Just stamp those along those edges, and then you're gonna set this piece aside. And we're going to now create the front and the back of the gingerbread house. Again, I'll have my early espresso ink pad. I've got my big gingerbread house, and that is on an E-block. And I'm just going to ink this up. I used early espresso rather than a black ink because just with the browns, I thought with gingerbread, you just think of cookies, they're kind of brown. So I just wanted to kind of keep that theme. So I'm just going to stamp this on here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to color this gingerbread house. And I actually colored this exactly the same way I did yesterday. So I used 3 colors of Stampin' Blends. That would be my Call Me Clover Light, my Real Red Light, and my Soft Suede Light. Yes, all of them are from the light shades, and my chalk marker. And if you want to see how I colored this, go back to yesterday's video. It was called the Yummy Christmas Card, and you can see how I colored this piece. I'm not going to show you how to do this again on the video because we've got a lot of other things that I want to show you. So what you're going to do is you're going to color it, and then you're going to cut it out using this die right here. Okay, you're just going to run it through your die cutting machine with this die, and you're going to cut one of these out. You're also going to cut out just a blank one for the back. Okay, so you'll have your front piece that you've colored and your back piece. Okay, so let me just make sure that I'm moving right along in the right direction. Now we're going to bring this piece in, and I'm going to use Tombow for this. There's one little trick when you're adhering the front and the back piece is that this bottom edge has kind of a scallop to it. So it doesn't touch all the way to the score line. So when you add Tombow to this middle segment, you're going to just add it to the top. Let me make sure my Tombow's flowing. You're just going to put it close to the edge of the tab here, not right near the score line, because it's not going to have any adhesive on it. Oh, and one other thing that's really going to help you. I'll try and avoid my glue. I'm going to take a ruler, and I'm just going to measure in 1 inch over on this tab. Or if you're measuring all the way from the edge of the cardstock, which you could do too, you'll put a little centering mark right at the 3-inch mark. And if I'm going to measure over from the side again, I will put a little centering mark right on that 3-inch mark. So you're going to use that mark to help you center this piece. This gingerbread house has a little point right at the bottom. So now I can just add that little point right over top of my pencil mark. And then I can just press down on here. Just make sure it is centered and square, kind of like so it's level. And then just press down on the tab. And then we're going to do the same for this bottom piece. I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow down here. And then I'm just going to use that pencil mark to center on here. The nice thing about adding these now is now you've got your whole piece ready to go and you don't have to glue anything on to this piece. You just have to glue the sides together, but everything is ready to go. So that is what your piece looks like before you assemble it the rest of the way. Now I'm just going to flip this over and fold this along the score lines, because it's harder to do this once you've got glue on these little tabs. And then you just also need to fold over these big pieces too. And okay. So we're working on the back side now, and I'm going to do one side and the other. I'll work on the front side first because I want to make sure that side looks really good. And this time I don't have to worry about where I put my Tombow because the whole tab is going to be attached to the house. So I can put it right in the center and not have to worry. And let me go ahead and put Tombow on this side. These are the tabs that are going to attach to the front of the house. So I'm going to just bring my tab in and adhere it right along the side. I'm going to show you in a second. Hopefully not get glue from the other tab. I'm just going to press down a little bit. So you can see this is right along. It's kind of going to be on an angle just a little bit, but it follows right along the side of the house. So it kind of creates a nice little side. Now you have these two little, the roof shingle and the bottom is going to stick out a bit, but this side is going to be flush with your tab. And now I'm going to bring in the other side, which we also put glue on, and bring that in. I can move my markers out of the way for now. Just make sure that's flush so you can see it's all flush with the sides right there. Okay, and then we've got, I'll bend this down, and then we've just got these last two tabs to adhere, and I'll put Tombow here and Tombow here. So again, I will work one at a time, and there's just enough room to put my hand in there. I just want to press down for a few seconds to give it a chance to adhere, and then I'll come over to the other side and adhere it down. Now you could also use tear and tape for this. I love Tombow for its staying power because it wets the fibers of the cardstock, and they tend to want to hold together like this, like, you know, fingers, and the fibers tend to lock. If you've ever taken something apart that's been glued with Tombow, it really has good holding power. So that's why, if I can, usually I try and use Tombow for my adhesive because I know it's going to last a long time. Not that paper craft has to last forever, but say you're making these for a craft fair that is several months down the road, or maybe you're working even a year in advance or half a year in advance. You want to know that your adhesive is holding things together because you don't want to have to go back and re-glue everything or put adhesive on again. So that's another good reason to use the Tombow. Okay, so we've got our little base of our box ready, and I'm trying to full look to make sure I've done everything I need to do. Okay, so then you're going to grab 5 Ghirardelli squares, and you can just, actually 6 might fit in there, but I kind of recommend 5 because we've got these little edges that are a little bulky. So 5 fit in there nicely, and they look nice, but if you really wanted to, you could put a 6th one in there too. And then you're going to grab some ribbon. This is real red cotton ribbon. It's about 18 inches in length, and you can just go ahead and tie it. And I have my locking tweezers somewhere around here. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this first in a knot. And then I'll use my locking tweezers to clamp down to hold that knot in place while I tie a little bow. It's a little tricky to get the bow in here because you've got the two sides of the box, but I think you can kind of manage to do it. And then unclamp that, and my bow's a little bit off to one side, so I'm going to try and shift it a little bit. And then you can just play with the bow a little bit to get it to look right. You know, you want to make sure the ends are where you want them. Okay. And then I'm fussing with that one side. Okay, and then I'll grab my scissors and I'll just angle cut those ends like that. So right now, this is pretty cute, and you don't have to do anything else with this. This would make a nice little table favor, a nice little gift. But if you want to wrap it up with a little bit more care, you can take a 3x6 cellophane bag, and I've got them right here, and just open it up and kind of stick your hand down there, and you want to kind of just flatten the bottom just a little bit. And then you're going to slide this in here, make sure it doesn't get stuck on the little roof pieces, and then just kind of position it down at the bottom of your 3x6. So if you want to, this little flappy piece, you could put a little piece of tape down there, clear tape, to keep this down, but you don't have to. So I'll set that aside, and let's create a little topper. And so I've got a little piece here that is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. Bring it in my scoring board real quick. I'm going to put the, oh, it's not 2.5 inches. Wait a minute. It's supposed to be though. I've got the wrong measurements. Let me grab another piece of crumb cake cardstock. I think when I was cutting it last night, I was thinking of the measurement for the inside of the box. 2 1/4 was sticking in my head. It is supposed to be 3 inches by 2.5 inches, and put the 2.5 inch side up at the top, and you're going to score at the 1 1/4 inch mark. Okay, so you have a little topper piece, and then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. Let me bring in my pieces that I need. Oh, wait a minute. I think I may have been a little bit too good with my cleanup last night. Yep, I was. I put one extra stamp away that I actually need today. Yep, that sometimes happens. Okay, so let's stamp this, and we'll need the Early Espresso and Real Red ink pads. So I'll start off with my Early Espresso. And what I've been saying all week that I love about these greetings is wishing you and there's a blank, and then Christmas is on one stamp. And because these are very small stamps, sometimes it's very hard to get them to line up. But because it's all on one stamp, you can just go ahead and stamp that. And then I'm going to stamp, open up my Real Red ink pad real quick, and stamp yummy in there because it is chocolate that you're giving in there, so it makes sense to add yummy there. So just like that, and then we'll close up the Real Red, and then I'm just going to stamp a holly leaf in Espresso, and we'll just kind of do that right here. So I'm just kind of being cognizant, there's the score line right there. So you want to make sure that everything you're stamping is on the 1/2, okay? Oh my gosh, there. And then let's grab these markers again, the same colors that I used before. And I'm just going to come in and hit this holly leaf with my brush tip, and I'll hit the little berries too with the Real Red. just because, just to add a little color up at the top. Okay. All right, to bring this back in, and you're also going to need a stapler. So I'm just going to bring in these tops and fold them nice and neatly flat. Okay, you can see how I just folded it back into how it would look if it was flat. And then I'll add my topper. I'll slide it all the way in as far as it will go. And then I'm just going to take a stapler and come in on this side, make sure this is still right, and then come in on the opposite side and staple it like that. And there is your little gingerbread house. How was that? Kind of easy peasy and not that difficult. And here's the one that is without the cellophane bag. Isn't it cute? Yay! So don't forget, if you want to get the project sheet for this, make sure you are an email list subscriber. If you're already on there, you will get this automatically on Saturday. And if you're not and you want a project sheet, just sign up before Saturday. All right, let me switch back here. Hello again. I heard a lot of popping, which meant there were comments and questions, and I'm just gonna scroll back and make sure that if someone had a question, Karen says, I make it look so easy. You know what? It is easy. Now, I've been paper crafting for a while, so yeah, maybe I've got, skills or whatever that, might make it just a little bit easier for me, but trust me, this is not a hard project. It is not hard at all. And when you're starting a hobby, or if this is new to you, just make sure that you practice, because if you make one and you're like, this sucks, it didn't work, it's paper crafting. Just try to do another one, because these little boxes, they are not that big, and it's not like you're having to restart over on a knitting project or something like that. It's easy. Paper crafting can be pretty easy, and like the cardstock relative to other supplies is not that expensive, so try it again, because it is about muscle memory. But this project really isn't hard, not hard at all. And I'm glad that you think it's cute. Someone says, I also like to use glue. Most demos use the expired fuse. I finally got turned down to fast fuse right as they were no longer selling it. But I have to tell you that out of everything, Tombow still holds the best out of any adhesive that I have used. And I do stress my projects out sometimes with the weight of Hershey's Kisses. So Tombow is by far the best, and it's like cheap. It's not that expensive, for a bottle. And this little bottle goes for a long time. And when I'm using it, I always keep it tipped on my side so that it's not like this. So the glue is kind of a little closer to coming out. So it's a little easier. I love Tombow. And some people don't like it because it can be a little bit messy, but once you get used to using it, you're very careful not to get too much glue on your hands, and I just love the staying power. Okay, I'm just reading comments. Hey, it's Clayfan1. Just watch the replay later if you missed the first part. I'm so glad you like this project. Cindy said she had a love-hate relationship with Fuse, and she really likes Tombow. Yeah, Fuse, sometimes the thing got messed up, but we no longer sell it, so it's a moot point. We don't need to worry about it anymore. I like Tombow. Sometimes I use Terran tape depending on the project. But if you're making these in advance, that Tombow's gonna hold. And don't you think this is really cute? Like you could make this part up, right? And then right before your craft fair, you just fill them and, you know, add the rest of these. Like you can even have the toppers ready to go and then just put them together when you want to add the candy at the last moment. I especially like these for a craft fair seller because they're fairly big. Like, let me just have a look here. Grab a ruler. So the cellophane bag width-wise is 3 inches and it's almost 5 inches tall, sitting like this with a topper. So when someone comes by your booth, it's like a bulkier kind of item, like it's a little bigger, so people feel like they're getting something, you know, a little bigger because it's got the little topper on top versus just this, which here is a little smaller. So, and also the packaging makes it kind of nice because when people come by your table and they want to touch things, well, this one's protected, right? So I think this would sell well, actually. I'm thinking it would be a good seller. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a fabulous Thanksgiving. It will just be my husband and I celebrating. I did head to Whole Foods for those of you who listened yesterday. I went to Whole Foods and I battled the parking lot. I got there around 11 o'clock and there were just a few parking spots left, right? So I get what I need inside the store. I buy like the pre-made turkey fixings, like the mashed potatoes and the sweet potatoes and some stuffing and some turkey. And I get that and I go to leave. And there's another little store that I've always wanted to go to, Marty's, which was right next door. And I was just gonna go and check it out, you know, see what they had. Well, I'm like driving my little cart back and the parking lot is now absolutely full. And there's these people waiting and they're like watching for me, like, where am I gonna stop, which car is mine, right? So I'm bringing up my car and I felt so bad about all the people circling the parking lot. I just didn't even go to Marty's. Sorry, Marty's, I'll have to catch you another time and check you out. But so I just put my stuff in the back and I go to back out and there's like people like trying to, you know, jockey for my spot, right? And I'm backing up. So I get over to the one side and then I had trouble leaving the parking lot because there were other people waiting for other spots. So it was like, you know, that game where you have to like shift the little squares, like this square goes here and then this square goes here and then this square, you know, like I felt like I was playing like one of those little games to try and get out of the parking lot. So I tell you, it's just crazy out there for certain stores at this time of year. I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad I went yesterday and not today. I don't even know. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to make Christmas cards. I have to make a lot of Christmas cards. So that is on my agenda today. Maybe that's what you're going to do this weekend, or maybe you're going to decorate for Christmas. It's so cool. It's coming up. All right, guys, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you back here next week. I won't have any more tutorials for you this week. I think a lot of you are going to be very busy. So I will come back next week, and it will be December already. Crazy, huh? All right, guys, have a great Thanksgiving. Bye.